Sinkaboo, Sinkaroo, Sinkalololoo. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Guild Wars 2. Kind of interesting, quite a lot to talk about actually. A fair few things have happened with me. I thought we'd open up this episode though with this lovely vista, which really you don't need to activate to kind of appreciate the beauty of what's going on here. That's Divinity's Reach right there. Pretty incredible, isn't it? The actual textures that are out there on that, how high quality it is, really is quite surprising actually. There's some nice screenshots out there of people that have got it from certain angles that look bloody awesome. But anyway, this is a vista. This is one of the things you can collect in the game. One of the things to do for map completion. Usually they're very easy to get to, which is a little bit of a shame. But they're just places you can go to with particularly nice views, and you can activate them, and the cinematics team from ArenaNet will hold your hand and guide you through what's supposed to look really nice. This one's interesting actually because it looks awesome looking back at the city, and yet the vista is actually looking at the water pipes and stuff, which is kind of weird. This was a place I didn't really show you last episode because there's no hearts here. There's like not a heart here, but there's loads of events to do with this place. Some of the early trailers, if you remember, for Guild Wars 2 involved all these like pipes and stuff blowing up and all this destructible terrain. It was like, oh, look at dynamic events, how much they can change the world. Really, that all kind of happens here. It's these big pipes that bandits can blow up and stuff. Yeah, small bandits. Or they can poison them, and can you see that field down there? That can end up green, and it can spew sludge and stuff out. It's pretty cool. But yeah, we got a couple of things to do on the tail end of the last episode, if you remember. We got to level 5. I've bumped myself to level 6, as it turns out. We're now scaled back down to level 5. But we did unlock a utility skill, which should be interesting. I have no idea what I want to get. So you've got a choice of heal skills. Everyone always gets a choice of 3 for your profession, and sometimes, depending on your race, you can get another one. So since we're a human, we also have the choice of prayer to Dwayna, which she'll just restore our health. I thought she removed a condition as well. I thought that's how that skill worked. But that's 147 health on a 30-second cooldown. While our current skill is 147 health on a 20-second cooldown. And this is quite a nice way, hold on, let me get my mic closer. This is quite a nice way to demonstrate that racial skills are generally subpar to normal skills. They're just kind of there for a little bit of flavour. And that kind of is the same, or should be the same, the whole way through the game. But this little one here, this is a human elite skill, the Hounds of Balthazar, and it's ridiculously overpowered. It's crazy, so it doesn't always work. But for now, I'm not going to pick that. So that would cost us 3 skill points if we wanted as well. We've only got 2. You get skill points for leveling up and doing the skill challenges and stuff. And there's this other one here, Troll Unguent. This is really nice. That's a reference to a Guild Wars 1 Ranger healing skill. You and your pet regenerate health over time. Pretty similar to what it was before, except I doubt it's a channel. That's probably just activating. It will pump your health up. There's also a place later in the game which is called like the Unguent Cave, and it's full of trolls, which is really cool. Or we can fill in this next slot, which is what I want to do, by picking one of these, which costs 1 skill point. Once we've unlocked 5 of these, we can go into the next bracket, and they'll cost 3 skill points each. And once we've unlocked 5 of those, we'll go into the next bracket, and they cost 6 skill points each. I think it's 6. And then once we've done that, we get elite skills, which is like 15 each, and then really super amazing hyper duper elite skills. Okay, that's not really what they're called, but you do get those, and they're like 30 skill points each. So having never played a ranger, I don't know what we're in for. Spike trap, flame trap, so traps are a type of skill rangers can use. Signal of renewal, cures a condition every 10 seconds, or if we activate it, our pet pulls all conditions to itself. Meh. Bleed foes with your next 5 attacks. That's kind of interesting. That's a bit like a type of thief ability. I've been playing a lot of a thief on my main account, by the way. I started a new char thief character. Lightning reflexes. Evade back with a crack of lightning, dealing damage, and gaining vigor. Vigor's really nice. It lets you dodge more. But early game it's probably not that good. Summon a spirit that grants allies a 20% chance to inflict damage. You know, I like these spirits. You can get a trait later that lets them follow you around. It looks like one of the more interesting ranger things to do. Your pet runs faster and does more damage. Or remove 3 conditions. Let's do that. Sick 'em. I quite like the name of that. So we can tell Mike to sick 'em now. Brilliant. Speaking of Mike, I logged into a few messages today, and I don't want to encourage people to do this, but I did have a couple of mails which I thought would be funny to read out. First ones are the heart guys, so we'll do that first. The first one was from Farmer Ida, who we helped last time. She said, "You were a big help in the orchard today. That place is everything to me, so you're taking the time to give me a hand meant a lot to me. If you're ever in the mood for some lovin', some apple pie, stop in for a slice." So thank you very much. Clear skies. Thanks for your help at the dam. I hadn't spotted so much as a leak since you came through here. Well, that's a very scary thought that it could be leaking, but there you go. So we plugged up those leaks before, if you remember, on the dam with the harpies. If you ever get tired of the hero business, oh, I didn't realise it was a business, come on down. My work crew could use skills such as yours. Okay, no problem. And thanks to you, I managed to catch a whole bucket of crawfish today. That might not seem like much, but between the drakes and the scale, my brother and I have fallen on hard times. Now, thanks to your effort, everybody's turned out just fine. You're a real hero in my book. Well, thanks very much, Travis. Right, so I've got 2 messages. This one's from Mike. So Mike learned how to speak. Kind of interesting. He says, please remember to buy Zux's meaty cat chunks for me. You haven't been feeding me lately, and I can only love on chunks of bandit for so long. You're not actually eating the bandit, I hope. So Mike sent me that. And also, Professor Flummox sent me, oh, for Vex's sake, take some of this flour water paste substance that labels itself as a high percentage protein, fats, and amino acids, despite testing showing it abuses the distillate conversion of petroleum hydrocarbons with microbial action to protein supplements. The chance of the zinc, selenium, and chlorine having unstable reaction with the gate iron are neglectable, but to go to the local alchemist in a case of cerebral pain, hemorrhage, or a strong desire to drink chocolate beverages. Oh, well, thank you very much for that. So someone sent me some food, which oh god, but my inventory's full, which I did want to show you guys, so we can do that as well in this episode. Don't worry, we'll make progress in a second. I'm just struggling to find my I key here. There she is. So we've got loads of items which I do really need to sell. We can just junk some of this though. So in Guild Wars 2 you can't actually drop items, it just always deletes it. So we'll grab that. So somebody gave me pie. Thank you very much, Professor Flummox. And again, I'm not encouraging anyone to do that kind of thing. I probably won't read most of those. But that was quite a funny surprise to get on and log on. So this is pie. We can eat, and this is lasting for 30 minutes. It's given us this effect here, and it's given us magic find and extra experience from kills, which will be really nice in leveling this this character up as we go forward. So yeah, that's very cool. And I will be sure to feed Mike at some point, though really he doesn't need experience because pets in this game level at the same rate as you do. In any case, what are we planning to do today? I thought it might be nice if for the videos I do 2 story steps at once, because here's a thing about the Guild Wars 2 story steps, they're not like all as long as the tutorial was. I would love it if they were all as long as the tutorial was, and they were all as good, really, honestly, as the tutorial was, but a lot of them are very short. They're like brief little, oh okay, we're here, and then you just leave, and that's kind of it, and there's not much else to it, which is a bit of a shame, but that does mean that I feel like it would be a bit crappy if we ended up doing a video and I was only on for like 5 minutes, so it might change from time to time, but general rule of thumb, I'm thinking let's just do 2 per episode, and I don't really care if the videos get that long. I used to care a lot about that, but that was only because I had a limit on my channel and so forth. I'm appearing invisible. Oh no, I'm not appearing invisible. Hold on. There we go. So I'm not really too worried about that anymore. We might just have a few longer videos. I mean, most of you guys have been quite receptive to that. Also, the other thing I did was, a couple of people were like, oh, I'm feeling nauseous from watching, like when I turn the UI off. I can't see how turning the UI off makes people nauseous, but maybe the camera being offset slightly was, so I've just changed that back. I'm used to the camera being offset, to tell you the truth, because, excuse me, I'm not ill, honestly, I promise you. I'm used to the camera being offset because that's just what my main account's always been like. Even since the betas, I quite like to have it offset because it kind of meant that you could see in certain jumping puzzles, especially if you're on really big characters that just obscure the screen like mad. So anyway, we're actually south of the garrison here. My original idea was to start the episode up there at the garrison. I'm sure there's plenty of more time though. But this is where our personal story continues. It's level 6. We are level 6, so we should be okay. Let's quickly recap, though, on what we did before. Who are we meeting? We're looking for Sin Furserai at the trading post. That is the trading post over there. But why are we doing that? Because last time, when Farron and I went to the bandit hideout, we had the advantage of surprise. We found prisoners locked in cages and freed them. One of the prisoners had managed to steal important papers from a bandit, including a missive ordering future attacks on the city. Captain Thackeray should know about this. So, and then we spoke to Captain Thackeray and so forth. In fact, I'm kind of annoyed at myself because I spent so long in that last personal story step saying to you guys, oh, I'll speak to all the NPCs. What did I forget to do? Can anyone tell me? I forgot to speak to Logan at the end. Ah, man. And the worst thing is there's like no way to repeat steps. So if I do mess up like that, then it's just, I can't show it without making another character. And I mean, later on in the plot, that's just not going to be viable because it's so hard to get to the right level and so forth. But anyway, so lots of Seraph here. I will just have to remember.
Deal, you thick-headed sap.
You said centaurs. You didn't mention catapults. Double the pay or we're leaving.
Double? How am I supposed to make a profit when you charge so much? Forget it.
I don't see that you have much of a choice, little man.
Money-grubbing Norn. You'd spend it all on ale anyway. How in Melandru's name am I supposed to get these supplies back to the city?
Hello, friendly neighborhood hero here. Do you have anything to say to me?
The spirits of the wild. Well,
I'm not sure if this guy appears later. He might appear later in our personal story, that Norn guy, but he might not. So he's a mercenary. He was offering to like escort this guy through his travels, but unfortunately, there's some talk of catapults. Is there anyone we can speak to before we proceed? I wonder. Bolin? See, a lot of these guys.
I carry only the highest quality goods.
I'm sure you do. A lot of these guys we'll see out in the main world, so don't worry too much if they don't have any dialogue. They might later. Yeah, looks like just Sin to speak to here. How are you doing?
What can I do for you?
Oh, everything.
You there. You look like you can handle yourself in a fight. I need to get to the garrison, and my oafish guards just turned coward. What do you cost?
Cost? I'm not a mercenary. I'm here to ask for help identifying the craftsmanship of a piece of handmade paper.
If you found quality paper in Divinity's Reach, I can assure you, I made it. Reams of paper are like snowflakes. I know my pages as well as most people know their children.
A little bit creepy.
Can you tell me who bought a particular piece of paper? I'm investigating the matter for the Seraph.
Yes, I could. But why should I? I'm a resident of Lion's Arch. Your queen's got no authority over me. And my clients expect discretion.
Please, it's very important. Can you make an exception?
I'll make you a deal. The road to Shaymore is dangerous these days. Protect me until I reach the garrison, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Let's get started. I need this information as soon as possible.
See, if I was smart...
I've got to get away from these unclean masses. That armor merchant smells like a seasick crate.
Coming from someone from Lion's Arch. See, if I was smart here, I would have told him I was a mercenary. He got paid for escorting him, and then by the time he was there, he would have been happy to tell me everything I needed to know. But there's something interesting he did say there. He said he was a resident of Lion's Arch, and that the Queen had no authority over him. And look at him cowering like a small child. Amazing. And the Queen had no authority over him, and you might be wondering, well, why is that, especially if you come from Guild Wars 1. Actually, you're probably not wondering why is that, because you probably know even the vague... Oh, I never emptied my inventory, what am I doing? No. Oh, Sin, can I at least sell something to you? This is going to be horrible. There's nothing worse than playing this game with a full inventory and knowing that there's all this loot that you can't get. It doesn't matter though, we're only early game, it won't cost too much money. It won't lose us too much money, sorry. But yeah, so you might be wondering why doesn't the Queen have any authority? And in Guild Wars 1, Lion's Arch was the capital of Kryta. That was like, when you got to Kryta in the game, it was Lion's Arch was where everything happened. That was the main place. That was... It almost defined Kryta, especially later on in the game where, for the purposes of most of your experience, you were there partying with people around there. So the question is, well, why now? Apparently, in the 250 years, things have changed a little bit, and the original Lion's Arch actually got flooded when the dragon we're going to be fighting in this game rose from the watery depths and basically got rebuilt by pirates. Kryta kind of abandoned it and moved north to, guess where, Divinity's Reach, and Lion's Arch, which is this place down here, was kind of just left, sadly. So basically pirates rebuilt it and now it exists as like a free state that is geographically still within Kryta, but the Queen doesn't really have anything to do with it at all. Which is interesting, and really it's a melting pot of all the races, and the idea is, especially if you read one of the books, that it was one of the only places you'd see a lot of human and Char kind of vaguely get on for a very long time, but now of course that's gone to a lot more of the world because of the treaty and so forth. Hold on one second, my headset is playing noises really loudly. Can you guys hear that? Give me a second, I need to turn it down. There we go, I think that's a little bit better. Oh, okay, he's dead. This is a very basic mission, though, it would seem. We're just kind of escorting Sin. And the weird thing as well is that you start the tutorial, and this is why I kind of like this, because you start the tutorial of the game, and the centaurs have overrun absolutely everything. And especially at the garrison, right? They've overrun the garrison. You push them back out of the garrison, and now if you choose this personal story, you actually get to see that they're still just outside of the garrison trying to attack. And that works really well. I do very much enjoy that. But then, obviously, if you go in the overworld, it's not always under attack. I mean, in the actual real world, if you're not in the personal story, sometimes it can get attacked by meta events. But since the betas, I don't think I've ever seen that happen. I think it's been too populated or something. It's basically, there are so many players in the area so much of the time that the Centaurs can never ever push forward. Like another one is there's a town nearby called Beetleton, and there are events where the Centaurs can literally attack the entire thing. Mike Sickham, let's see how good this is. Oh, my character actually says Sickham, that's awesome. So there's this other place, Beetleton, that's supposed to get attacked and stuff loads, but you never really see it happen. I've never seen it happen, never, because just players have always fully got it pushed. I think that's one thing ArenaNet really kind of need to be working on at the moment, because it just literally means that there's all these events and content, basically, quests, you know, that they put in the game that people just aren't seeing ever, as far as I can see. Even when servers reset and like all the events are pushed more than they otherwise would be, the players just get to these places too quick and push them back down, and there's nothing that can really be done. Later on in the game, a lot of the events kind of chain better, so like the chain will finish and then it will reset back to the start, so you do see all the stages of events. But before like level 40, 50 stuff, ArenaNet very rarely have done that, so there's just certain bits of content you never ever see, which is a shame. It's one of those things about Guild Wars 2 that's
the Centaurs have erected catapults.
Not great.
Secure the gates.
Anyway,
stay out here. The Centaurs will eat me.
Our orders are to seal the gates until those catapults have been destroyed.
Why are you wasting time? Destroy those catapults.
do you want to help? Do you want to help?
Seraph won't open the gates while those catapults are pounding away. Do what you do best.
Would that be smashing things by any chance? Thing is, the other thing this guy doesn't realise is that these Seraph here. By the way, it is Seraph. It's not any. I know that you can't. There is like a real world pronunciation for Americans that's slightly different, but actually, you listen to the way that they say it in game. This was a really weird thing. ArenaNet made the pronunciation of it interior different to what you'd expect IRL, and their kind of reason for that is, oh well, this is Tyria, and they just pronounce it differently. Like the word is just a fundamentally different word to people interior. But they don't do that very often in the game, so it's one of those things people always comment on. They're like, oh, well, you're pronouncing it wrong, all the characters are pronouncing it wrong, and then ArenaNet fall back and say, oh no, they're not pronouncing it wrong, that's just how they say it interior. But then they don't really do it too often, so yeah, it just comes across a bit weird. So yeah, but that is the way you're supposed to pronounce it. Anyway, this is actually significantly harder than it was on, wait, what was it? I think I did this in the betas on my Elementalist. But the thing is, right, what you can do here, what I was trying to do there, is just ignore the Centaurs and you can destroy the catapults straight away. But apparently they hurt quite badly, and since I've not died yet, I think it would be wise to just see how long I can keep such a good thing going. Oh, because like I said, on my main account I started a Char Thief as well earlier, and I got to like level, I think I was in my teens, I think, before I died. But thieves are just so squishy, and especially early thieves are they start to scale really well, I've found, but I wasn't having too much fun on my thief before, and I'm sure we'll play a thief on the Let's Play before the end. But early on, man, they're quite difficult to really get to grips with. I've got to stop pressing F because my inventory's full. It's going to be very frustrating to watch. But yeah, they seem really difficult to play early on, and then as you slowly get traits, it doesn't take that long, but around the level 20s or so, you can start to see how much better a lot of these things are. Anyway, so we'll break this catapult. Apparently Mike doesn't want to help. Or was he just dead or something? I don't know whether he was dead. Well, when we're going to look at something else... Oh yeah, we were going to do something else. We were going to change to bow, weren't we? Longbow. Yeah, I remember now. So let's break out of combat so that we can equip one. Mike... Ah, see, this is interesting. On a ranger, it takes ages to break out of combat because your pet keeps fighting for so long. I suppose we could just kill that guy. Oh, we're out. There we go. No, come on. Oh, what? I double-clicked it. It didn't equip. Interesting. Okay, we'll kill the centaur. For this, you die. You've held us up. And I'm not pleased. There we go. Right. Can I please equip this now? Equip. It's not letting me equip. Why isn't it letting me equip the bow? Is there something wrong with it? It doesn't have a level requirement. Do I just have to drag it? Will you let me equip it then? Why can't I equip the bow? Oh, it's because my inventory's full and I've got 2 weapons. Oh my god, the inventory. Okay, alright, hold on, let's get rid of that. There we go. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now our left 5 skills have changed. I know what the last one is. It's at least barrage. Not sure what many of these other longbow skills are. Something interesting about the longbow. When we first started to see this game at like conventions and stuff, the short bow was a weapon that allowed you to always move while using it. Like, you could always be running around, while the longbow, you had to stand still while activating all of the skills, and that was the difference between them. The short bow was much closer range, but it afforded you more mobility, and presumably the short bow did less damage too, but I can't confirm whether that's true. While the longbow was, you'd be far further away, but you'd be doing maybe more damage, but you'd have to stand still. And it was quite funny, a lot of that early convention stuff, a lot of us who had been following the game knew that you could move around with the short bow, but you'd see a lot of rangers playing, and they were just stood here like this, and you know, you saw this an awful lot, and I'm willing to bet a lot of players that just started playing Guild Wars 2 even at launch just stood there using most of their skills on, you know, just not appreciating they could move and stuff. But yeah, you'd see people like this. You'd see some people with short bows that were running around doing loads of stuff, or they'd even just hold the short bow and just be stood totally static, and I was like, oh, you don't have a longbow, you can move. But then it seems that eventually ArenaNet just kind of decided, actually, oh, another veteran there, brilliant. They actually decided that the longbow was, I guess, just not feeling very fun if you had to stand still with everything. You might have noticed with a lot of the patches they've been coming out with the game, even recently, where they've been updating these things, and they've been saying, I think I should have let Mike res before I kept going here. That might have been good. But you might have seen with a lot of the patches they've been making, and this is going to take ages. Look at him. Oh my god. What if we break combat, get Mike back into the fight? See, when I get 2 pets, I can swap between them to res as we're playing, so we should keep our eye out for another pet, at least straight away. There we go, Rez is alive, Mike's alive again, brilliant, so we can go back in. But yeah, they must have decided at some point that the longbow wasn't fun with standing still, and I guess the main problem was, if I could only stand still, it doesn't matter whether I'm on a longbow or a short bow, eventually the enemy is going to close the gap between us, right? And at that point you're going to want to be able to move. So they're a little bit more similar now, the two things, but the abilities you get with them are slightly different. Like, there is still that distinction, because I know for a fact that the short bow gives you swiftness, which makes you move faster. So that straight away still kind of maintains the, right, you've got more mobility. See, and this time I aggroed that archer back there too. Ugh, lame. Oh, and he's knocked me over. This guy actually really hurts. I'm level appropriate. This shouldn't be really hard. Oh god, he's going to get me if I'm not careful. Or maybe his buddy is. Must resist temptation to press F constantly. Alright, let's kill his friend, because he's broken aggro. Or, do you know what? I might even cut this till he's dead. There we go. Well, I'll say one thing. Ah, see, he's still killed Mike. This guy is so dangerous. I'll say one thing. This weapon set certainly seems far worse than Axe Warhorn, but to give the game credit, I haven't actually unlocked all the skills. Maybe this was just a bad time to start unlocking skills, but Jesus! Ow! We did already kill a veteran earlier, didn't we? I should specifically remember killing one. Come on, please die. Please don't kill me. He's not actually managed to hit me this time, so at least there's that. Die. There we go. He's down. I could have also just opted to ignore him and killed the catapult straight away, but hey. I don't do things in halves. We'll finish them all off. Which is going to be interesting later as well, because the one really redeeming thing that I really like about a lot of these personal story instances is that the enemies will never respawn in them, and that feels really different to like the overworld. It's really nice having that assurance, knowing that they're all dead. And I mean, that was a really fun thing about the first game too. You could go out into like explorable areas and just vanquish them and literally kill everything on that whole area, and you know that they weren't going to come back unless you like re-entered the instance, which was cool. But there's not really an equivalent here. Anyway, so that's all 3 catapults down. Did we kill 3 or just 2? I think we killed 3. Yeah, so that's all 3 down. The gates are once again open. We've broken the siege once again, just like in the tutorial. Feels like we've not gone anywhere yet, and indeed we haven't gone very far. But hey, Sin, are you going to tell us what we want to know now? What do we want to know?
Very well. I held up my end of the bargain. You're safe. Now, tell me who bought this paper.
Safe? Barely. I feel like I was run over by a herd of marauding Dolyaks. That paper was made of pulp from the Seberine tree. It's one of a kind. I sold it to Minister Zaman. He has exceptional taste.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know. You might be called as a witness if Zaman is brought to trial, so don't leave Divinity's reach.
How very quaint. If the Ministry sends a formal summons, I'll come. At least they'll use decent parchment on the subpoena.
Alright guys, I know I said I was going to do 2 personal story steps in one video, but I kept going for about an hour and 5 minutes, and I'm pretty sure I just got a little bit of a feeling not everyone would want to watch that in one sitting. So I've just split this in 2 basically. You've got about 25 minutes here, and there'll be about 40 minutes or so on the next episode too. So hopefully that's alright. I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, have a good evening everyone.